So again, I don't think this is like new information for you guys. I've been harping on this for a while, even recently too, but we had that quote come out with Maresca talking about this was the worst 48 hours I've had. I don't feel any support. And at first, I thought it was the fans, right? Because again, it's been really quiet. You know, the fans, they're really quick to turn as soon as we drop in any way, shape, or form. But no, it definitely not the fans. That was clarified. And then again, they wanted him to follow up. No, I said what I said. We're moving on. So a lot of the reports coming out now from Chelsea reporters are that, yeah, it was directed towards the board. Essentially, in simple terms, he's being instructed to rotate. That's why we bring in 15 players every summer window. But when we rotate, we've dropped points, right? And mind you, there have been games we rotate and we don't drop points. And as soon as that comes out, all the heat comes on my bald king. Very similar to what Salah was talking about. He thinks he's being scapegoated, and I don't ever see any reports about our sporting directors or our board. I always see stuff about our managers, so I would tend to agree with that sentiment. So he's getting upset at that, and he's being micromanaged by the board. Like they are literally bringing up in meetings after the Atalanta game. Oh, we don't like what you did here. So they're telling him how to do his job after the whole point was to get a yes man, right? Get a yes man who takes what we sign, do your job, be a yes man. That's what they want. And now they're telling him how to do the one job he's being instructed explicitly to do. I don't think these guys have the resumes to really be talking to him like that. We've seen people on the other side of this argument saying Maresca is a championship manager. He doesn't have that resume. If I'm not mistaken, we just got top four. We won the Conference League, which again, whatever. And then we win the Club World Cup. So we win 2 cup competitions. We qualify for the Champions League. I think we overachieved, right? And these guys come from Brighton and Monaco, the Red Bull group. Like we were talking about with João Pedro, you two right here, this is not Monaco. This is not Brighton. This is not the Red Bull group. You don't have time for a young talent to develop, and he'll have rough games, just like we're talking about players who will have kind of rough periods. But again, you're on a lower level team. You can play through those performances and those dips. One bad performance and the entire country talks about it, right? This is a different level. We're talking about something completely different here. And these are the guys that we're trying to rotate into games. Hato, the last time he played was Karabag away. That was over a month ago. He had a rough game. Hasn't been seen since. Hato's a very highly rated prospect. I think he will be a very good player at this club. He's 19 years old. That's the backup for Cucurella, who's probably started every game he's been available in for club and country for the better part of 2 years. In a Euro tournament and a Club World Cup tournament, this guy's played 2 years straight. I mean, as soon as Colwill tears his ACL, we need a center back. What do we get? Nothing. Oh, we heard the Kudus links, Morgan Rogers, Fermin Lopez, Xavi Simons, that left wing 10 sort of playmaker, ball carrier, sort of another guy to pick up the load for when Palmer's not in the team. Buonanotte on loan. That's what these guys are setting him up with. I love Andre Santos. Is he ready to start week in, week out when someone goes down? I don't think so. You're going to have to play through these mistakes. Achampong, a guy I love. Again, he's 19 years old. Can he play every game? No. So again, I think it's kind of crazy, the sentiment of it's his fault, Enzo Maresca, when this is the hand he was dealt. In my eyes, this is a guy who has succeeded in spite of what he has in front of him. I mean, Pochettino was a completely different manager to Enzo Maresca. Do you remember why he left? This exact thing, right? The more these guys get involved, the manager's like, oh my, this guy. And there's a balance, right? You can't have a manager saying, oh, you got to sign this guy, sign that guy. That's not how it works. But I mean, you have 2 completely different managers essentially saying the exact same thing about their bosses. I might think it's true. And my last sort of point on that before I specifically want to mention some of these signings, These are the same directors that bring in, or they sack Tuchel, bring in Potter, 5-year contract. He gets sacked in 6 months. Then you bring in Lampard as a caretaker, who was sacked for the guy you originally sacked because he was not good enough. And then they brought in Pochettino, and now they bring in Maresca. So those other guys, that's your fault. The sporting directors, they keep bringing in bad managers and they keep bringing in bad players. Like, I mean, think about last year's window. Pedro Neto for 60 million. Joao Felix again for PSR reasons, as we all know. Dewsbury Hall for 35 million. Philip Jorgensen, 24 million. Omari Kellyman, 22.5 million. He plays for Cardiff City on loan, by the way, so we're going to see them tomorrow. Mike Penders for 20. Aaron Anselmino, 16.5. Matisse Amugu, 15 million. He's already been sold permanently to Strasbourg. Renato Vega, 14 million. Caleb Wiley, Mark Guiu, Sancho on loan, Tosin on a free. That's a rebuilding team, right? That's very clearly a rebuilding team based off that window. That team's not trying to compete. Okay, this year, a team that won the Club World Cup, Champions League, top 4, all that. Joao Pedro, Jamie Gittins, Garnacho, Estevao, Hato, Delap, Dario Sugo, Mamadou Sarr, Kendry Paez, Buonanotte on loan. I mean, that was my whole thing. I'm totally okay, and I understand the approach of, hey, this team needed a rebuild. We're just going to go sign a ton of wonder kids. We hit on Palmer. I think Estevao is going to be a hit. We're going to hit on more. Fantastic. At what point do these sporting directors take the onus and go, you know what? Now is the time to supplement this. Now is the time to bring in a player who's ready to go. He's going to get in. And again, it takes time to get adjusted to the league. I'm not saying that does not exist. What I'm saying is we can expect this player to play 3 times a week because he has played in the top flight for a while. That player doesn't have to be 30 years old. That can be a 24, 25-year-old player, but that player needs to be ready, and we don't have that in really any option, as much as I like our team on paper. So I don't know. It infuriates me to think that this is the manager that they're trying to almost have this sort of cold war against and turn people against him. It is just so incomprehensible to me. And these directors got an extension, by the way, before the window closed, before they did nothing. So yeah, I'm disgusted. I think they need to be held accountable exponentially more than the manager does. The manager is not faultless. He has made mistakes. He's inexperienced, just like every player that has been brought in. He needs to develop. If he were coaching at a Bournemouth, a Brighton, whatever, we would hear none of this. It would only be how good he's been. That's how it is at that level. When you're here, every bad result, magnifying glass. That's the game. So I just think that accountability needs to be shifted towards our board, because this guy's being set up. He is being hung out to dry. Hopefully it just gets resolved in-house, but this shit pissed me off.
Yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword for me, because I think when we initially talked about Maresca's signing, like back when we were first starting the pod, this was my biggest concern. You guys hired a puppet, right? That's what the sporting directors wanted from the start, was a puppet to be a head coach. And Maresca has proven that he is a very good coach that should be given more license to do whatever he wants. A little bit, right? He proved it with 2 trophies. He backed it up by doing pretty much everything they asked. And now we're getting to a point where this is ultimately where I always saw it going, was Maresca, if he performs well, is going to want more leeway. And the board is no longer letting him have any leeway. And not that they gave him any to begin with.
Right.
So one, Maresca knew this going in. This was never going to change. So that, from that standpoint, he's at a fault there. Because if he thought that he could get another job somewhere else where he'd have more reign, should have taken that position. But the other side of that is, why wouldn't you give this guy more reign? He's proven with all of the talent that they've had, all the injuries that they've had, that one, he can win against the best sides in the world. He can win with a depleted side, and he's tactically flexible to do whatever the hell he wants. So it's just it's mind-boggling to me that he hasn't been given that purchase to go do it. Like, it's not rocket science. It's 3 dudes who live in the US that watch our team from a million miles away who go, okay, like, we see exactly what's going on here. They need more experience. We've been saying it since day one. It's not rocket science to a certain extent. just give the manager exactly what he's asking for. He's proven that he can do it with the players. So I don't know, Mila. What are your thoughts on the matter?
I think the main thing when we keep coming back to this conversation, and the thing that boggles me every time, that just blows my mind, and I have to have Grant clarify every time, is what exactly are these sporting directors trying to accomplish? Because when Grant talks like that, he just did a 10-minute soliloquy about basically what
Felt
communicated to
like
me
30
that
seconds.
it's fine. I'm not complaining about the length of time. I'm just saying we're
No.
able to talk 10 minutes for that. And all I got from it was that there was some miscommunication when Maresca signed this contract over the sporting director's goals in the next couple of years and his goals as a manager. It just, every time we talk about it, it just seems like the sporting directors are trying to do what Brighton did. They're trying to make as much money as possible. You sell your youth players now. You don't really bring in that many. You don't bring them up from the academy. The guys that have the way, the culture of the club ingrained in them, they're not coming through. You're buying those young talents and trying to mold them, and this forcing of rotation is just clearly, don't let their price drop, don't let the asset depreciate, and I don't know. You can't be Chelsea Football Club and operate like that, and I think that's where a lot of the mess up top comes from, is that your fans are not those types of fans. This is not the type of club that is expecting okay performances and good profit for a good vibe. Like, you guys do not care if the vibe is good as long as you're winning, and whether that be a good thing or a bad thing as a fan, we won't get into. But this club should be winning. You should be competing for titles, be competing for Champions League, and if you're only going to get him 75% of the way there, why even make the big signings? Why even be so I don't know, hopeful in that these young players will become something if you're just going to sell them off for money and there's no end goal? So to me, it just seems like the sporting directors and Maresca are misaligned with the goals for the club.
Yeah, very well said. I mean, I think another good example would be towards the end of the deadline. I mean, everyone and their mother knew we were going to sign Garnacho after Jamie Gittins was already brought in. Jamie Gittins is 20 years old. I still think there's lots of talent there, but again, clearly can't play every 3 days, 90 minutes. He's not there yet. Go bring in a Morgan Rogers. Go throw 100 million at him, right? And again, I know we probably couldn't have done that for financial reasons. Why can't we do that? Because
You
we keep
probably
spending
could've.
15 million on 17-year-olds, loaning them out for 3 years and hoping that they're good enough. And if they're not, we make a profit. Like you said, Mila, I think we can do that in the background, right? You can operate like that, buy 10 million here, there,
You
loan
don't
them
want
out a
that to
few
be an
years.
identity in the transfer
Yeah,
market.
at what point do you go, I think this core is actually ready? You look around, you look at the other teams. Oh, maybe if we just get ready now players to supplement what we have in house, all the success stories that we've had already, why don't we supplement that and start competing now? And then in 2 years' time, oh, this guy we just bought, who's, let's say he's 27, now he's 29. Oh, we can sell him because the guy that on loan at Strasbourg for 2 years is ready to go. Sure, go ahead. But to prioritize essentially hoping that a player grows instead of, we have serious holes in our first team that need to be addressed, that's when it becomes a problem. And again,
Yeah.
it's literally happened again. It happened in January last year. We didn't have another striker. Jackson goes down. Disaster. Like,
I think
how could you let this
the
thing continue?
Garnacho point is perfect because, like you're saying, Gittins can't play that many games, but you've identified the issue in the position that you need, and they went and said, we'll go for the guy that is going to cost us less right now because of the issues going on at the club, and then we'll just
We're
try to make a
flipping him.
profit off him.
We're
Yeah,
totally
if
flipping
you
him.
get him slightly to improve, you make money off of him. Whereas
Look at
if you went and
Madueke.
got a Morgan Rogers and got 100 mil, even if he performs great, you're not going to profit off of that. And to me,
Look at
that's
Madueke.
like the core of how your sporting directors think, and that's the major issue.
It's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. I think Madueke is not a bad player. I also do think Esteval in the future will be a significantly better player. Having said that, he was definitely productive for us, as frustrating as he could be at times. He knew the system. He's been here 2.5 years at that point. It wouldn't hurt to kept him around. Now we got to bring in Gittins, who's going to need time. bring in Garnacho, who again, he's ready for this league, whatever. We know exactly what he is. Neto, I think he has stepped up as of late. And then Esteval, who is this otherworldly talent who's 18 years old. And I mean, he kicked out at Leeds, could have been sent off on another day. Yeah, he's not perfect either. So you've got these guys who you need to nurture when you're a few pieces away from seriously competing on all fronts. So that's the mind-boggling part. I understood why we went this way when we first started rebuilding. We had an aging squad. We were running out of juice. I totally understand why we went this route. At what point do you realize, oh, we're ready to compete? I just don't get it.
Yeah. The way that this is all set up is it's always a pipeline project. Everything is always 2 or 3 years in the future.
Yep.
Esteval is a 2 or 3 year project in the future. Quenda is a 2 or 3 year project in the future.
Great player.
The issue with that ideology is eventually the young players that you've bought 2 or 3 years before in that pipeline become old and no longer become the same serviceable player that you thought. You're playing the lottery every single week and hoping that eventually it works out. That's the current state of it. You will never
We've
reach.
hit a few times.
No. You're going to hit.
Yeah.
But the issue is you might hit in year 1, you might hit in year 4, you might hit and then in year 7. The issue is there's no connection there. It's not like Arsenal. I'm going to use them as an example here, just because of the idea of their project, which has been they have a young talent who is very good in Bukayo Saka. We need to surround Bukayo Saka with the best players available right now because this is our best opportunity. What happens if Chelsea go another year where Cole Palmer misses 2 or 3 months? You'll never win a Prem that way.
We have Buonanotte on loan, Dylan.
Yeah, there you go. That is the perfect example. Okay, Cole Palmer's here. We have Cole Palmer, who's this amazing young talent. It's almost like in football where you have these quarterbacks on rookie contracts. Not to go super American here, but you have a player like that, you might as well catapult your chances of winning now and not in the future because the future is never promised. It's just an idea.
I like Liam Delap. That's another market opportunity. Oh, he's 35 million.
Yeah, did you guys need Liam Delap this year? Or did you need a proven 9? Did you need a Victor Osimhen? Or did you need
I knew you were going to bring him up. He has 6 league goals in Turkey. However, like you said, he's playing in Turkey, right? If we had an Osimhen, and again, I'm not sold, but we're just using him as an example, right? The proven striker. Yeah, I'd like our chances more than Delap. He's been petulant. He's obviously had injury issues. But again, I don't think Osimhen gets that red card just elbowing a dude for fun. Right? He's a goal scorer. He's there to do a job. He's a mercenary, right? Like he's going to go in and do a job. We have guys learning on the job, right? And I think another criticism that Maresca gets a lot is you'll see a screenshot in a game that we lost where fullbacks are in midfield, right? The same people who want Poch back, what did he do when we started picking up form at the end of the season, Dylan? He inverted Cucurella into midfield. So it's just a really stupid argument. But the reason Maresca does this, why is Palmer in the left half space, not the right? We're trying to build something here. As we've been clearly saying, it is a rebuild. This has been a project. Look at Enrique's PSG, because I think it's similar football that we're trying to play. These guys are able to do things all over the pitch, like Malo Gusto's performance. For all those times I suffered watching him in the double pivot, man, what a performance he had today. And he's had good performances in midfield this season. I look at Cucurella, who's done every job I can think of, right? Having guys that are able to do all of this is huge, right? Like even just looking at another team, Doku, the way he's been able to play between the lines this year, I didn't see that coming whatsoever, right? But that versatility and being able to almost like switch with Nico O'Reilly, like that's tough to deal with. So that's something that Maresca's been developing ever since he got here. And like you guys have both been saying, I think he's earned the right where these directors, if they were good at their jobs, could identify that he's the guy and to supplement him with talent. So, yeah, really disappointing stuff. I hope this doesn't lead to what it can lead to. I mean, the guy's Italian. I think Juventus would hire this guy in a heartbeat. So, like, I just really hope that this doesn't turn into any further of a problem.
Yeah, it's coming to a collision point. We'll see over the next few weeks how this.
If we drop any more points, it can get scary.
The only other manager that has openly said something like this against the board and against the owners was Nuno, and Nuno got sacked like the following week.
All right, so I'm hoping that they're as crazy as they seem, or not that.
No, Igbali's kind of crazy, petty. Bro.
I can't say what's gonna happen, but there's definitely they're coming to a
And
point.
I could be looking too much into it, but there was this video from a few weeks ago where Egbali was in Strasbourg after we played Marseille, and he's like all touchy with the Zerbi and shit, and it's like this motherfucker right here, like I don't like it. I think there's like these power plays that these dudes are trying to pull. It's all politics. It's all bullshit. I think Maresca's the guy. I think he's Chelsea coded. The one silver lining I will take is you're starting to see the fans back him more because one thing we can all get behind is this board is full of fucking idiots. I literally made a joke that we would sign another kid, and we did. That kid might end up being a world-class defender, Dylan, but I don't know. We have a center back problem now. So again,
we'll never
Brighton
know.
can go do that.
Yeah,
Brighton can go flip a player. We don't have time for that shit. If we have to pick one, get a guy that can play now. That's where we are currently, right? So you have to adjust to the times, and fuck, it's frustrating because Milan, I told you, they're not doing shit in January. This is what we got. So we're here, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. My whole argument with that is if you guys were serious, you would. So I guess you're just
If
not
those
serious.
assholes were
and that comes
serious.
down to the board. Yeah, like they're not a serious club right now. You guys, or at least from the top, that message is
serious.
not.
The boardroom is
being echoed down.
unserious.
They are unserious.